Welcome back to another episode of the Rational Football League Show. My name is Emmett Swarat. I'm here with my co-host Brendyn Ford. We are on to week 17 of our podcast, which is just absolutely insane. But this is a place you come where the bold takes are in lowercase.
I love it. I love it.
You guys can find us on Instagram, Spotify, YouTube, TikTok, and Twitter. If you guys want to reach out to us with any topic ideas or you want to just call us stupid, apparently Twitter is the place for that, and we paid for that. So, let's hop right into it. Starting off with our news of the week. We got a couple holdouts going on right now. We have Nick Bosa, Brian Burns, and Chris Jones, all defensive players on the defensive line, are all holding out for their respective teams, the 49ers, the Panthers, and the Chiefs. What do you think, B? Do you think any of them are back for week one, or do you think they all actually miss week one?
Yeah, I feel like they all miss week one. Actually, I'll be honest. I'll put a star next to Brian Burns. I'm not sure actually what's going on with him. Do you know, has he been part of training camp at all? Because Nick Bosa and Chris Jones have not really been, right? They have not been involved with the team during the training camp or preseason. Was Brian Burns a part of the program so far or no?
So from my understanding, I think the headline of the news pretty much was that he missed Monday's practice because he's holding out for a new deal. The surprise about it tells me that he did not, or he did attend training camp and mini camp, but now that the games are here, he is holding out. So maybe it's just
but that's like the dumbest decision. Why is he picking now to hold out when it's game week? I feel like a lot of these players are like missing the window to have these type of conversations with their teams. Like, why are you picking right now? Be like, well, I guess maybe because they want the most leverage and like start of the season. They're like, oh, well, I'll just hold out then right now, right before 6 days before the game. So I don't know. I feel like if anyone, I'm sorry.
I was going to say, before we jump too far down Brian Burns' throat, there is a chance I am wrong, and I don't know. The implication to me is that he went to camp. If he did go to camp and is now sitting out, of course, this is fucking stupid. What are you doing? You should have sat out before.
Yeah. Well, let's just talk about Nick Bosa and Chris Jones then. These guys have not been part of training camp or preseason. They're not even ready to play a football game. Even if they struck a deal right now, would they play on Sunday? Probably not. I mean, Chris Jones, they have a game on Thursday. So there's no way he is playing. Nick Bosa, probably not. I mean, if he did sign a deal, maybe he'd be on a pitch count, if that. But you have to get your body ready to play a game. And if you haven't been, doing football-related stuff for over a month to 2 months' time, you're not ready to play a football game.
Yeah, and the Nick Bosa situation is really weird. I know a lot of 49er fans are talking about it right now because the season's here. He's held out all of training camp, and the excuse was, well, he doesn't need training camp. He's in great shape. He's a baller. He knows what he's doing. So who cares? And now it's like games are here. And I think 49er fans are starting to feel a little bit of that. What is going on? Like, you guys have had so many months. You want to get it. The Niners want to get a deal done. Nick Bosa wanted to get a deal done. Why are we not, how long does it take to negotiate this deal? You guys should have known, hey, ballpark is 28 to 32. All right, well, we'll call it 30. We'll call it a day. Why has there been no movement on this? For the Chris Jones situation, I kind of feel for the Chiefs because he's asking for, I think he was asking for 27.5 was the last thing. Is that right? Okay.
I think it was definitely worth of 20, yeah.
Yeah, and that's blowing away Quinnen Williams' previous deal. He's up there asking for TJ Watt money, which for a guy, I think he's 30-ish, 31-ish.
He's 29 right now. I think he's
29. Okay.
He's turning 30 during the season, I believe, though.
Okay. That's kind of a lot of money to now have to start paying that guy, especially when you're thinning everywhere else. So that's kind of definitely a tough situation for them to be in. At least with the Nick Bosa situation, he's 25 and coming off a Defensive Player of the Year award. For Chris Jones, and I'm not sliding Chris Jones here. I'm just saying it's a matter of, I think he's asking for a little bit more than he probably should be getting. But again, we're talking about a $3 million difference maybe, So they need to figure it out with him and get it worked, and whether it's 25, 26 or something. But be holding out this long and not have a deal done on either end is kind of ridiculous. Speaking of deals, though, moving into TJ Hawkinson, who just signed a new 4-year, $68.5 million deal. This does technically silent golf claps. This does technically reset the tight end market. I say technically because Darren Waller kind of did, because before it was 15 million, Darren Waller's went up to 17, and now his is like 17.125. So didn't reset it a whole lot, but it's still technically reset it. What do you think? Is it a good deal for the Vikings? Bad deal for Vikings? What are your thoughts?
I think it's solid. I mean, I haven't. I'm not gonna go down the path of like, oh, this is just an overspend, blah blah blah. If they think TJ can give them great years and you lock up a really good tight end, as you and I know, we kind of talk about this more in the fantasy scope, but the talent of the tight end position, in my own opinion, is a little bit not there, I guess the way to phrase it. Like, you have Kelsey, you have Waller, you have Kittle, and Waller shouldn't really be part of that. You have Kittle, you have Kelsey, you have Mark Andrews, and then in my own opinion, it's like everyone else. Those are like the top tier guys, and Kelsey's even like above them, right? So if you find a good tight end talent, right? If you find a good tight end talent and you think he'll give you a good year, sure, man, pay him. Pay them. Again, it's only $17 million too, which we had a talk about that in the previous show where like underpaid spots. Yeah, exactly. Underpaid spots, tight ends, that's definitely one of them, because you look at those contracts and you say to yourself, how the hell is Travis Kelsey not getting paid $20 million a year? At least $20 million.
For those that don't know, it's like 13.75 is what he's getting paid.
Yes.
So
it's like the 6th or 7th highest paid tight end, something like that.
Fourth.
Oh, okay. Well, I guess
it's Hawkinson, Waller, Kittle. I think it might be 5th actually. I think there's one more person. I think it is, because Kittle's at like 15. I think it's oh my gosh, Kelsey. So
yeah. So what do you think about him, man?
I think it's a good deal. I think it's a good young tight end. He brings a lot in the passing game, but he's also a solid blocker. So he's kind of what you look for in a tight end. He's very well rounded. He's not a Darren Waller type of receiver. He's not, or an Evan Ingram type of receiver. He's more of a receiver than tight end. He's like your through and through true blue Iowa boy tight end. So I respect it. I think it's a good deal, and I hope it sets up future tight ends to get paid a little bit more in line with what they should, because a great tight end can be your best left tackle, your new left tackle, your number one receiver. So, and I do want to point out that I think it's like, 7 of the last 10 Super Bowl winners have had what's been considered a top tight end in the league. So, I mean, they obviously must bring a lot of value to a Super Bowl winning team. So, I think it's a good move by the Vikings. So, but speaking of Vikings, the Colorado upsets TCU. I know that has nothing to do with the Vikings. I couldn't think of a better segue. Colorado upsets TCU in week 1 of college football, 45-42 in Deion Sanders' Colorado coaching debut. The stars of that game were definitely Sanders, Hunter, and I'm going to throw out, Edmonds, right? Is it the running back Edmonds?
It's Dylan
Edwards. Yep. Edwards. I'm so sorry, Dylan Edwards. True freshman, number 3, had 132 yards receiving as a running back and 4 total touchdowns. I'm putting the focus on him because everyone else has talked to their mama's ears off about the other 3. But great win for Deion, great win for the program. What do you think about it? Are they here to stay? Is this the Colorado season now?
It might be a little bit too early to say. We were talking about this before the show too. Colorado's schedule.
No! Don't change your opinion now. Don't go all moderate on me now.
my brother in Christ, how you gonna cut me off before I finish my point? So, Colorado's schedule is the toughest in the first month of the season and then the last month of the season, as of right now. You have USC in Oregon, and they just beat 17th ranked TCU. So they play USC Oregon in September to end the month of September. Then they play Oregon State and Utah in the last month of the season. So this could be Colorado's season if they end the month of September with at least one loss. And just looking at it, they would probably have to beat USC and lose to Oregon if they do lose a game in the first month of the season, because since USC is ranked 6th, that win would be weighted higher at the bookmark of their season. Whereas if they beat a 13th ranked Oregon but lose against a 6th ranked USC team, then it doesn't really hold that much weight. So if they can get through this first month 5-1, or I'm sorry, 4-1, and then middle of the season is kind of they're not that many tough teams there, and they look at the last month of the season and would have to play 2 ranked teams again. Who knows? They could be a playoff squad, or at least around there, if they end up going 11-1. But I don't know. What do you think? Bro, what's funny? I said exactly what I just said in the pre-show.
No, I know, sorry. I was still thinking about the brother in Christ thing. That's what was making me laugh. I was like trying to hold it. I didn't want to be rude and interrupt the whole thing again. I was just thinking about the brother in Christ. I was like, oh, Jesus Christ. Yeah, I mean, again, yes, if they can go in and have that kind of season that you were talking about, for sure, I believe they deserve to be in the college football playoffs. If they beat USC and then went out the rest of their game, lose to just Oregon and went out the rest of their games, yeah, absolutely, they need to be at least in the discussion of college football playoffs, if not being in the college football playoffs. I do believe they won't have that season. I do see them more as a 7-5 team. As great of a win as this was for Colorado, and I do not want to take anything away from them because this was a great win. To me, watching the game, it felt more like an indictment of TCU, actually. It kind of showed me the lack of their defensive ability. You know, there was guys missing tackles in the secondary, guys that couldn't cover. Oh my gosh! I tweeted about him during the game. There were 57 Johnny. Oh my gosh, I can't remember the guy's last name, but he's a linebacker with the neck cowboy collar on. They kept dropping him into coverage, and to me, he seems more like a edge rusher. He's an edge setter. He needs to be coming off the edge. They kept dropping him into coverage, and he didn't look always so great in that kind of position. And then their offense. I mean, the quarterback, I don't know a whole lot about his previous history, but in the game I watched, he seemed sporadic with his accuracy. He sometimes was on point, and then there's a couple of times you're like, this is open. He's just missing it. What is going on? So I think this, again, to me, that's just more of an indictment of TCU's defense and TCU as a whole. Yeah, but even at that, like I just said about TCU's offense, because who's their number one receiver, who's their running back, who's their skill position players, you know, Colorado still gave up 42 points to TCU. You know, what is Oregon or USC going to do to that defense? I mean, they're going to run wild on it. So that's why I don't see them having that season. I do see them going 7-5. I'll maybe even say 6-6 to be a little bit fair, because I do believe programs like Stanford, I think, are going to surprise us this year. And I might be a little biased because the Sac State coach is now the head coach of Stanford. But, you know, I think being in the Stanford range is probably a little bit more where they're at this year. And then next year, watch out. Another year of that program, they will be a powerhouse in whatever conference they go. The Big 10, I think? No, Big 12. They're the Big 12 now, right?
Big 12, yeah. 12? Yeah, they're going to be Big 12 next season, I think, yeah.
Yeah. Of course, so, I could see them going 6-6, 7-5 range. I think it's a much better than what people expected coming into it, but I don't want to get ahead of ourselves. I see a couple of people kind of have gotten a little ahead of themselves. Like, I think some people were saying that Colorado should be ranked 15th or top 10 or something. So
yeah, that's a little bit. I think though, like if they could again finish this month out strong, 4-1,
if they go 4-1, yeah, all bets are off.
I mean, this is like they're like gauntlet right now. They can survive this wave. Who knows what could happen with this team, man?
Oh yeah,
honestly.
Yeah. At the very least for this game for Colorado, if we're looking at it from an objectively perspective, it's week 1. We don't really know anything about all the teams. Like TCU is ranked 17th. clearly they shouldn't have been ranked at all. If we're looking at everything objectively, I think it showed us that Colorado at least belongs. Like, I'm trying to avoid his name because I don't want to fuck it up, but Shedeur Sanders?
Shedeur Sanders.
Shadir?
Yeah, Shadir.
I mean, he's a baller. He's a future top 5 pick. He to me is the next Caleb Williams. Like once Caleb Williams leaves and goes to the NFL, he's the guy. Like his accuracy, his poise,
his football IQ, it's wild.
But the dude was dropping
processing, dude.
Nasty passes. Then you have Travis Hunter, I believe is his name, right? I mean, yes. The dude's a shut-down corner and a wide receiver one. And there was another receiver they had. Oh, my gosh, and I can't remember his name right now.
I think they have Joe Horn Jr.
Joe Horn Jr., yeah. He's
a stud.
Another guy not getting talked about enough. He's a stud. So I think Colorado, I mean, their obvious strength is clearly offense. I think defense, they need to work on a couple things still. I'd love to see a little more of a pass rush from them. But their offense, I mean, it's so fun to watch, especially if they can keep that going. The athletes they have there are amazing, dude.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, again, like I said, I think at the very least they showed us that, hey, they belong. We need to knock this crap off about 2-10, whatever people are projecting, and show. And they're here to say that they're a real ball club. This ain't last year's Colorado. This is this year's Colorado.
Oh yeah, it's new.
Speaking of Buffaloes. Cowboys right tackle Terrence Steele signs a 5-year, $86.5 million deal. Another Cowboy gets paid. Again, I know it has nothing to do with Buffaloes, but, if you use your imagination, you can link the two. Listen, guys, the jokes are for us.
You are on one today. Your transitions and segues are on point.
I know. Listen, the jokes are for us. If you're not laughing at this, I'm sorry. This is a crucial, unfortunate minute, whatever of your life. But this is killer material for us.
How about they find a sense of humor? That's my message to y'all. Yeah. Y'all are not laughing at us. Come on.
What's wrong with you right now, viewer?
They're probably laughing at us, not with us. But if you're not laughing with us, you don't have a sense of humor.
Listen, I'm the Ted Lasso type. If you're laughing at me, at least you're laughing, and we all can get along with that.
Preach.
But anyway, Terrence Steele, right tackle for the Cowboys, very well-deserved deal. 5-year, 86. God damn, that's a lot. I'm sorry, I'm really looking at that number. That's almost $90 million. That's a great deal for a right tackle.
It's sad. I must be a damn casual. I didn't even hear about the dude until he signed that contract.
I know. I thought. I know he came out of Tulsa. I believe. I didn't realize he was already so far along in his career that he was eligible for this kind of a deal. I thought he was still like in year 2 or something like that. So obviously it's on us.
Yeah.
But like JT O'Sullivan says, this ain't O-line school. This is the Rational Football League. So we cover 32 NFL teams and about 10 college teams. So
exactly. we cover the college teams of the fans who yell at us at Twitter, like, hey, how come you're not bringing this up? It's like, we should actually look into this then.
Yeah, if you want us to cover your college team, yell us on Twitter, and we will cover your college team, and we will be your biggest supporters because we don't like being yelled at.
That is 100% true.
That's 100% true. My bank teller yelled at me one time, and I put all my money right back in. I was like, "You're right. I don't have an account here. I don't know what you're talking about. I've never been in this bank in my life." Anyway, going back to this 5-year, $90 million deal. Great for him. My understanding from Cowboys fans' reactions is he's more of a road grader rather than a pass blocking connoisseur kind of guy, aficionado. So, but still a great deal for a dude that clearly, obviously deserves it. The biggest concern for me, and I'll toss this over to you, it's another guy they have to pay. Mm-hmm. They still got Micah Parsons. They still have CeeDee Lamb. How are they paying all these people? Where's the money going to come from?
Drug money, I guess. I don't know. Where's money supposed to come from?
Oh, that was an obvious. Guess moving on, nothing to talk about here. It's just Coke money. Jerry Jones, you keep pushing that Coke, man.
I can see him being part of the mob or something. He's out here rich.
Well, he's part of the oil mob. I do know that. So,
all right. Well,
some of that black cocaine. I really that sounds a lot worse than I intended to.
We're gonna gloss over that part.
Oh no, they call it liquid gold. That's what they call it.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, sorry.
That's
There
something
it
else I
is.
didn't know too.
You never heard of
Um,
it called liquid gold?
I thought that was a flavor for like four loco. Honestly, I remember
I'm pretty
those
sure it is
cans.
too.
I think it
Which now
is.
concerns me about what's in Four Loco.
Well, it actually it lines up. It makes sense. A lot of those nights
Yeah.
now make sense. You know,
Speaking of which, we are sponsored by Four Loco. If you haven't
imagine,
gone Loco lately, you need to go Loco today.
imagine.
oh, oh boy. Yeah, no, not again. Not since college. So,
No, I've never had one of those again. I tried drinking two in one night in college, and I woke up.
dude.
I didn't know what
Okay,
planet I was on.
I know off topic from National Football League and notes. I had two of those in one night, and I had to write a research paper that I had not started. Wrote that whole goddamn thing, 5 pages. Submitted it. Did not review it because I was drunk off my fucking ass. B plus. B
No
plus.
way. No way.
Yeah.
Dude, are you like Steve Jobs level genius or something? Do you have to just get like this drunk to like?
I'm the drunk Steve Jobs. Yeah.
How is that possible? How is
I
that possible?
I don't know. I have no idea. Maybe here's what probably happened. If we're being honest about the situation and being rational, because that's who we are. My professor probably saw this and went, "Oh, this poor kid. He's fucked up." B.
The
B
first
plus.
sentence is I'm gonna black out off two four logos.
Like I can't even imagine how many grammatical errors were in that, how many spelling errors were in that. It must have been like the worst paper they've probably ever read, and they were just like,
They screw it.
"This poor kid."
It's
You know what?
like it's so bad that it's good. B.
He's like, "I remember my first college night. B plus."
God.
So
But get back on track. Sorry,
again,
y'all.
this is the Terrence
So
Steele.
we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Um, what are you gonna do with Dak? I mean, do you let Lamb walk? Do you let Pollard walk? You're not gonna let Michael Parsons walk.
No, fuck no.
He's a top five edge, if not top
Yeah.
three.
So
So that kind of raises the question of like, if they do decide to extend Dak next year or in 2025, because again there is an out in his contract in 2024, and then his contract ends in 2025. How much money are you gonna pay him? Like,
right.
is he gonna take a huge discount
Yeah.
or?
And you just paid Zach Martin $20 million a year roughly. So I mean, we don't want to make it all doom and gloom for Cowboys fans here. Practically there is a way you could sign Dak Prescott, but it's going to start costing you other depth pieces. You're going to not be able to have a Brandon Cooks, or you're not going to be able to have, you're going to have to replace your left tackle or your left guard. There's going to be like subtle changes, and you're like, why are we just not as deep as we used to be? And that will be why. Or like, why do our linebackers suck? It's like, that's why, because you've paid everyone else. Now you're struggling to pay this guy, or you
Right.
can't pay that guy. So,
Right.
but moving on to one of a couple last points here. We'll speed these up because we're getting a little deep in this video. Cooper Kupp and Jamal Adams are set to miss Week 1 in the Rams Seahawks matchup. That's for our fantasy listeners out there. If you have Cooper Kupp right now in your lineup, please stop whatever you're doing. Go to your phone, go to your computer, go do whatever. You're probably on your computer. You can pause the video. We'll be okay with it. Take him out of your fantasy lineup. Put him on the bench. He's not playing this week.
Yep.
If you have the Seahawks defense, you're probably fine because Jamal Adams didn't play most of last year either. So you're probably okay on that one.
Yep.
But what are your thoughts? Are you still starting Cooper Kupp this week?
I like him with one leg. I think he's going to put up at least 20.
Does he have one leg or no legs? Is it both the hamstrings or just the one hamstring?
I don't know. I was told a hamstring and one calf muscle maybe.
Yeah, one hamstring, I kind of still like him. I think 16 points is fair.
I think it's fair. I think he's going to get those like targets still.
Yeah, exactly. Stafford's got to feed him. What did Jarvis Landry say? I don't care if both your legs are broke.
Get out there. Back. No, that sucks. It sucks for people who draft in the first round too. That's awful. You never want to get the injury bug before a season actually starts. I know we're going to kind of talk about it too, but Travis Kelce too. It sucks. Literally 2 days before a game.
Yep.
It's like, oh my God.
Hyperextends his knee. Which, again, if you're not aware of that, Travis Kelce, if he's in your lineup, I would probably recommend taking him out. It doesn't seem like he's going to play. He is questionable. And this is recorded Tuesday at 7 o'clock Pacific time. He is currently questionable. ACL is intact, but questionable with hyperextension in his leg. So it doesn't look good.
It's not worth playing him either. Even if he was okay to go, like, dude, it's week 1.
Yeah.
Rest him. He is your wide receiver 1 as a tight end.
Yeah.
Like, he is your best option on offense. Keep him healthy. Don't play him. Don't.
Exactly. And then we will wrap up with some sad news. Gil Brandt, who's a longtime Cowboys executive, plus he's contributed for NFL News and a lot of other articles, always giving segments, has unfortunately passed away at the age of 91. As well as we do want to give a shout out to Jimmy Buffett has also passed away at 76 after his long battle with cancer. I believe is what it was cancer. Yep. He was a huge New Orleans Saints fan. All right. Well, with that, we will move right into our games of the week. We do have 3 this time because the NFL is back. So we're going to do 2 NFL games, 1 college game, and we will be avoiding all 49ers games and Bears games this season because obviously we are biased. I'm going to pick the 49ers every time. They're going 17-0. I know B's picking the Bears to go 17-0, I think, as well. So, that's fans, and that's how we work and think. So we're not going to touch those. Instead, we're going to touch a juicy one to start. Bills and Jets. Last year, they did split their matchup. They went 1-1, and that was a Zach Wilson-led Jets program. The Bills are currently favored in this game by 2.5 points, with the over-under being 46.5 points. And according to ESPN, the Bills have a 57.6% chance of victory. B, make your prediction. Who are you thinking? Who are you taking?
Give me. I actually didn't think about this till now. I've been thinking about it a lot, going back and forth. But
we have a whole segment. We haven't picked this yet.
I haven't thought about this game.
I
have, but I've been overthinking about it. I have to go with my gut, and I'm going with the Buffalo Bills.
Bills with points?
Well, yeah, right. I do think it'll be over the 46 mark for points. I think, at least I hope so. I want to see fireworks. Yeah, Josh Allen go against A-Rod. I want to see points scoring. It probably will be low scoring because the defenses are both pretty tough. But I'm going with what my heart wants now, and I want points scoring. I want Josh Allen winning. Sorry, guys. And I'm picking the Bills.
Oof. Yeah, I gotta kind of agree with you on this one. Again, it's week 1. Week 1s are weird. Week 1s are always. I'm looking at the 49ers Bears game last year. They're always weird. I'll take the Bills just because of the continuity. Josh Allen already has that familiarity, obviously, with Stephon Diggs. The whole program's already been there. Maybe it's a little bit of just like a miscommunication between Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson. Well, he's throwing to Alan Lazard and Randall Cobb. He should have plenty of communication there. But plus the O-line of the Jets versus the Bills D-line, I think that's where the main matchup is going to be, is in the trenches for this one. As if it's not every game. But it'd be a very big test week 1 for the Jets offensive line and seeing how they can hold up and keep Aaron Rodgers safe. I think the Bills win and cover. I don't think it's a super close game necessarily. I think the Bills maybe win by 10 because, it gives the Jets or the New York media something to shit on for a week and make themselves feel good about their toxic selves. 46.5 points. That's very low. That's surprisingly very low. I think they go the over here. I do think there's enough continuity with Aaron Rodgers to, put up a decent amount of points. I just think Josh Allen is able to, do a little bit more. He's got, again, the same pieces around him he's had for years. So give me the Bills plus the points, and I think they take the over this week. That sounds good. All right, there we go. Game 1. Before we continue on, I do want to say we did go 2-0 in our game picks last week. We picked Washington to win. Technically, let me phrase that. Emmett went 2-0 in his picks last week. I almost nailed the over under for that Florida State game because it was at what was it 31-17 at one point, and I was like, and then
What
like
was the line for that again? What was the over under?
58 and a half, I think it was.
Okay.
And I was like, oh, you guys don't score, just run the clock out, don't. And then Jordan Travis, I think, ran it in. I was like, mother.
God damn it, LSU defense.
I know. I was like, you guys can fucking hold them. What are we doing here? FSU just run up the score now. I do want to give you guys a disclaimer. So if you want to bet on our picks, it's not a bad bet. I mean, B's at least right 50% of the time. I'm right 100% of the time. Combined, it's about 75, I think. It's not bad. I think you got decent odds there.
But you have to remember, though, if you parlayed your pick with the over, they would have lost. Or the under, I guess.
Well, who said I did that? I mean, I just took
I love it.
Anyways, all right. Well, then technically, all right. Over unders.
Right. Okay.
I think we both 1-1 on the overs because we both picked Washington on the over. I think, right?
Which was easy money. We talked about Washington's offense. I mean, that's just going. No.
Yeah, the whole talk about the upset stuff really threw me off. I was like, they're going to blow them out, right? And I'm like, no, the former defensive coordinator. I'm like, they're going to blow them out, right?
Wait, what they end up winning by? Because we were swearing that they're going to win by at least 20 points.
I think it was like 56-14 or something like that.
56-19. And the spread, wasn't the spread like 9 or something?
I think it was 20 points, actually.
Was it 20?
So I think it was. I don't have my notes in front of me from last week, but I know they covered the spread.
Because I was saying that they're going to win by 20. Because I thought the spread was super low.
Oh, that's right. I think you're right. I think maybe it was 9, and you might be remembering it right. Even by our own spread, they beat our own spread. Washington said, "You guys think Boise's going to upset us? Boise, watch this!" And they just ran up that score.
Yeah.
Again, we do apologize to all 4 Boise fans in our comment section here. We are huge Boise fans and would never say anything negative about the Broncos. They're Broncos, right?
I think so. But you guys knew you guys were going to win that game. I mean, we're not saying anything like it's. Come on.
Yeah, come on, Blue Broncos, Blue Horses, whatever your names are, Blue Pegasuses. Anyway, sorry. Moving on to our next game, I did want to throw that out there. That it's pretty cool that we did so well in week 1. But moving on, let's see if we continue our roll on this week. Dolphins versus Chargers. We're going with a warm weather climate battle, and probably one of the best jersey looking, aesthetically pleasing games of the week and season.
We have great color schemes going on this week.
Oh yeah, fire color schemes. The Chargers are actually favored in this game by 3, with the over/under being 51 points. So if that's what Vegas has it at right now, 51, it's going to be a high scoring game. ESPN, according to ESPN, the Chargers have a 55.4% chance of victory in this one. B, who you taking? You taking LA? You taking South Beach?
This one was tough. So I'm in like a confidence league, and you have to rank, like you have to pick the winner for each game and put your like confidence score on there. So it's a 1 to 16, 16 being you're very confident in the outcome, 1 being you're not confident at all. This game was the hardest for me because I can see this game as being a shootout. It can go either way. You have 2 high-powered like offenses that can just move the ball, it seems, almost at will. And, I kind of just went with the team who I thought has the better quarterback, and I went with the Chargers. When both, all offensive units are very high powered and they're good, I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna pick the team with the better quarterback. And Herbie, come on, man, give me 500 plus 4 tutties. Let's get that over, and the Chargers win.
Oh boy! See, that's the problem with games like this. You start looking at it, you're like, damn, that the offenses, they should be pretty evenly matched. The Chargers still have Keenan Allen and Michael Williams. They've added Quentin Johnson. They have Austin Eckler. You look at the Dolphins and you go, okay, well, they got Waddle and Hill and Mostert and oh my God, what's his name? Jeff Wilson. Mm-hmm. They got Tua. So you start looking at other things. You're like, okay, what's the defense? What do we think about defenses? Who's got the better defense? Well, and you start looking at the Chargers, and they do have. I still think they have Khalil Mack, right?
They had Mac
And
and
they have
then Bosa.
Joey Bosa. They got Derwin James.
Asante
Okay,
Samuel Jr. back there.
Asante Samuel Jr. Then you look at the Dolphins, and they have Xavier Howard. I believe still right.
Yeah.
And they got Bradley Chubb, I believe.
If they had Jalen Ramsey, I probably would think a little bit differently, but he's out for the
Yeah,
season. Or I
out
think
for the season.
he's out for the season. Yeah.
Yes, yeah. Again, I agree with you. This is a tough one to pick. I think this is tougher for me than the Bills Jets.
It's
I
so
was
tough.
leaning, I was leaning Dolphins honestly until we started really going through the defensive players for the Chargers. Now I'm gonna stick with the Dolphins. The firepower. I love
There
their
we
quick
go.
strike ability. I love Waddle. I love Hill. I love Tua's. He's one of the best, if not the best, deep passer in the league. They can score at will. They don't even need pass rushers. They won't have time. It'll be 1-2. Just huck it up the hill. He'll get under it somewhere. We have a healthy Tua. Yeah, you know what? Give me the Dolphins. I think Dolphins. I don't think with the points. I think they win outright. What do you think for the over the under? I don't think you got your over under pick.
No, I'm going with the over. I think it's going to be just fireworks.
Over.
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I
think so
think.
too. I think it's going to be probably. I think we could probably safely call this the highest scoring game of Week 1.
Yeah, if this is low scoring, I'm gonna be very sad watching this game.
Well, it should just
Like,
be like 18-13 final. What kind of bullshit would that be?
yeah, like what the? That's not what I fucking signed up for, guys.
What the fuck, man? It's aesthetically
um,
pleasing to look at, but this is the worst game I think I've watched.
I mean, this game should be fun, man. This
Yeah,
should be a fun game. And yeah, this was tough. I stared at my screen for like 5 minutes,
yeah, I know.
and I was like, I don't know who to pick for this because I can see either or. No, it's tough.
I know. I'm surprised. Again, I'm still surprised it's at 3. I believe it's in LA, right?
It is, yeah.
So the Chargers again the hometown benefit of the +3.
But then I heard that no one even shows up to Chargers games. Like Chargers fans usually get out fanned by the away teams. At least that's what I heard. I
That
mean,
is true. That happens to all LA sports teams because LA fans suck. They suck
I thought you were
hard.
gonna say because the teams move and like they came into a new
No,
city, but you're like
no.
they just are awful people.
St. Louis fans, solid. I feel like the Rams were always sold out when they were in St. Louis. San Diego, yeah, they're all right.
Yeah,
LA fans, awful.
suck.
Hate them.
The worst.
Hate them.
As you rub the SF.
Yeah, no, give me the Dolphins for this one. All right, let's move it on to our college game of the week. This should be an exciting one. This should be a barn burner. This should be a can't miss. We're going to talk about this all season game. It's another one that kind of surprises me. I'm surprised how much of a blowout this is predicted to be. But Texas versus Alabama, Longhorns versus Roll Tide, the Proud of the South. Who are we taking here? Bama is favored by 7. Bama won the matchup last year, but Ewers got hurt in the first half of the game. And Bama has an 81% chance of victory according to ESPN, according to Alabama, according to ESPN. I'm sorry, I apologize for the Southern accent. I don't know where that's coming from. Thankfully, I don't get a New York accent one either. Tell me who you're taking in this battle of Southern powerhouses here.
This is another tough one for me too, because I want to be fast to say this Bama because of just the brand, like Bama. Like we all know what that name means. But you look at, it's a different years and independent events, but they only beat Texas by 1 point last year, and that was with Quinn Ewers getting hurt. And Texas is returning a lot of stars, or at least starters. Bama is still figuring itself out with their younger quarterback who doesn't have that much experience. All this setup is leading me to saying, give me Texas. Honestly, I'll ride the bandwagon. I'll ride that wave. They could get smashed by 20, or they could pull off that upset. So give me Texas.
Yeah, and I'm kind of right there with you. I feel like if this game happened week 7, week 8, I'd pick Bama in a heartbeat. I'd be like, yeah, this is Bama. But, you got a new quarterback. You got new playmakers there. I mean, pretty much your entire offense did not get a whole lot of play time last year. The running back excited me. I think he averaged like 6 yards a carry last year, so he was kind of like the mainstay that I really appreciated. Um, it's hard to gauge week one because it'd be like, oh, if they played, I don't know, some decent middle of the pack team, you can go, okay, well, we got a better gauge on this, right? I trust them. They've got a little bit of experience. Let's see how you do it against Texas. But they played Middle Tennessee. Like you have to take everything you saw against in that game with a grain of salt. Like literally, oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the quarterback's name. Bama's quarterback, new quarterback, dual threat guy.
Milrow.
Jalen Milrow.
Yep.
And there's a fumble snap he picked up and just out athleted the entire Middle Tennessee defense for a touchdown. That's not going to translate to Texas. That's not going to translate in the rest of the season. It's never going to be that easy. So when you go into the season, you're starting off playing, Middle Tennessee, then you have to face a challenge like 11th ranked Texas. What do we really know about these guys? So, and Texas, like you said, is returning a lot of players. They got Quinn Ewers there. They got Xavier Worthy. My concern with them would be on the defensive side. I know they lost a decent amount of starters to the draft. So we'll see how they can respond there. And again, Texas's first game was against Rice. So another game where like, what do we take from that? Not a whole lot. So I'm having to bank on Texas's continuity and their experience, and I'll take Texas with the points. I don't think Texas wins outright, but I'll take Texas with the points.
So you're taking them with the spread, like +7.
Yeah, I'll take Texas +7. I think Bama wins on a field goal again, but I think Texas plus the points. I'd take that bet.
Do you have the over-under line in front of you?
No, I don't have it in front of me.
I wonder what the over-under is. Let me see.
22.
12.
No, that's the Iowa State
game. Sorry, y'all. We don't have this in front of us, and my FanDuel app is now decided to wait 5 years to load up. So
I'm gonna say, go on.
I was gonna say I would anticipate it being like another shootout. I mean, well, it was low scoring last year though.
Yeah, I wouldn't think it'd be a shootout. I think if the over under was 53.5, I would take the under in that. I think it's going to be a low scoring affair. I think it's two teams that are still going to be working out the kinks. Because again, you played Middle Tennessee and Rice. Not really a whole lot of, testing going on there. So
yeah, the under,
I think that's why
the line 54.5.
Yeah, 54.5. Yeah, I take the under that. I mean, look at the teams that look the absolute best this week one. Oklahoma, who is a returning star, and Dylan. Oh my gosh, the guy from UCF that transferred there. Dylan.
I can't.
What's his face? Dylan, good old Dylan, what's his face? Dylan Gabriel. That's what it was.
Gabriel.
Oregon put up 81. They look great with a returning Bo Nix. Washington looked great with a returning Michael Penix Jr. So, I mean, if you look at these teams that are returning quarterbacks, they're the ones that are looking the best so far because they have that continuity. So that's why before Texas fans or Bama fans start coming at me, that's why I'm picking them. That's my explanation for those two. But all right, that is our games of the week. We'll see how we finish up this week. Let's see if we can stay perfect or stay at or above 50%. See if we're winning our bets here. But from there, let's move on to our fun segments of the week. Since you guys really love the Giants segment of the week, we are not going to do the Giants. We are going to discuss Fields of Love. Who would you rather have? Justin Fields of the Chicago Bears or Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers, first-time starter? B, I know what you're going to pick, so I'll let you go first.
Yeah, obviously I'll take Fields. Not only because he's QB1 for the Bears, but when you look at Fields, and by the way, I think both of these guys can be at least top half of the league quarterback-wise. I can see him falling between the 10 and 16th, so I kind of push him between like the second and third tier. You would think. Yeah. I like Love. I'm not one of those Bears fans that just like crap on him for like no reason. I think he has strong fundamentals. Whenever we watch JTO and the QB school, I see nothing but great things out of him. He processes the field well. He knows where to go with the ball. His mechanics are clean. He showed that at Utah State. College, he's a very clean prospect. But just looking at Fields versus Love and their play style, I like Fields' playmaking ability more than Jordan Love's right now. And again, we're filming this September 5th before games even played with Jordan Love. He could come out and just light it up against the Bears and do a bunch of crazy stuff, right? But we kind of know what Fields is right now. He is that guy. He have like really insane flashes, like holy crap, how did he just do that? But he does it with his legs. When you see it with his arm, I think if he could figure out the passing game, I would be, that's crazy to say, like year's end, I can see him maybe being like the 8th, the 12th ranked quarterback in the league just because he has that upside with his legs and his playmaking ability. But yeah, I like Love. I got nothing to good things to say about him right now before a game starts. Again, if they end up beating the Bears, I'm sure I will feel a little bit different. But I think he's a really solid prospect. He's good in the pocket. He's comfortable back there. Yeah, and again, this is all being said before a game is even played. So, but yeah, give me Fields for now, I guess.
Yeah. Well, let me tell you why you're wrong, brother. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna go the opposite way. I'm gonna take Love here. I'm feeling the love on this one. So Love actually had a 67% completion percentage last year. He only got to play in some spot starts, but he looked really good. The highlight, obviously, being the game against Kansas City, which was an improvement from his 59% the year before, his first year. It's a little cheap gimme layup one, but he was mentored by Aaron Rodgers for the last 3 years, and we've seen how that's worked for Zach Wilson. After one preseason, Zach Wilson looks like a brand new quarterback. He's sitting here hitting spin moves and juke moves and throwing no feet in the air and whatever else, looking like prime Aaron Rodgers. So obviously the whole Aaron Rodgers training guys or not training guys has obviously been blown out of proportion. And now I kind of want to throw it back a little bit to what you kind of talked about with, Jordan Love in his college days. Because a lot of people focused on 2019, which is kind of what I was initially told when he was drafted to the Packers. Look at this weird bad season he had. We're kind of hoping on his arm talent that he can make it work. Well, in 2018, he had a 64% completion percentage. That's a good completion percentage. Like, that's not bad, especially for a college guy. He also had 32 touchdowns to 6 interceptions. That tells me, at least, he is capable of protecting the ball. He can do it. He has it in him. He did it before. So I think he can get back to with another year of actually starting in games and being coached and trained and being QB1. He also had, in that year of 2018, he also had a QB rating of 158.3 and averaged 8.6 yards per attempt at Utah State. So that's the reasons I would pick Love. Again, obviously we don't have a whole lot of in-game action to pull from in the NFL level because he's been behind Aaron Rodgers. But this preseason, he has looked electric. He's made a lot of the great throws. Like you said, JTL7 also commented. His technique, his footwork has looked impeccable. His anticipation has been well. He hasn't been stumped. Now, again, take it with a grain of salt. It's the preseason. You're getting vanilla defenses out there. He shouldn't be getting stumped. If he's getting stumped in the preseason, there's a problem. But he's looked good so far. I am curious to see how he handles when defenses get a little more complicated. You're seeing exotic blitzes and mixing coverages and everything like that. The reason I'm taking him also over Fields, because I know you took the high road and said a lot of great things about Fields. I'm going to crap on him because I didn't know we were doing that. So
I'm just a good guy. Hey, you're just the awful guy. Okay, I got you. No,
apparently, Emmett's the piece of the show of the week. Anyway, Fields has a couple, as we've discussed, processing issues. As we've gone back and watched, there's multiple times when we were watching his college highlight tape. We also watched a great video by Kurt Warner. This is before Fields was drafted, where he was getting through his reads and then going to checkdowns. And at the time, Kurt Warner was praising him like, it's always good to know what your checkdown is. But looking at it, obviously through today's eyes, it kind of looks like, you're not just getting to the checkdown because, hey, it's cloudy, whatever. you aren't seeing it right. You clearly must not be seeing it right because this is 3 verts and the safety went to the outside and came down onto the crosser. You have a touchdown right there. Why would you ever throw it to your check down? So to me, it kind of that, and what we've watched from his film last year does allude a little bit to that maybe it might be some either A, processing issues going on, or B, he's just not trusting what he's seeing and letting it rip, which also ties in a little bit to his elite running ability that we didn't even realize he had at college that he's miraculously discovered in the NFL. I think it's a matter of he's not getting to the check down anymore. He's using his legs to make spectacular plays because he's just not seeing it. He has a great arm. He can throw the ball. He threw for 4,500 yards his last year at Ohio.
Like that,
or he had 45 touchdowns.
Yeah.
Something to that kind of effect. He has a great arm. He can throw a beautiful ball. It just seems to be it's more of a mental thing for him. And that's why he makes these spectacular plays. He's got a 60% completion percentage with 11 INTs last year. So for me, I am legitimately concerned about his long-term capabilities if he can't figure it out. Now, obvious solution to the processing issue is he needs to see it more, right? Just like when you're doing a hobby, you're doing a habit, the more you see a problem, the more you see something, the more familiar with it, the quicker your brain realizes, oh, it's this, let me fix it with that. Same thing. Once you do it enough, you can just look and go, oh, that's what they're doing. Cool. I need to come over here. Oh, that's what they're doing. I need to hit this. Right. So it's just a matter of he needs to see it more. I don't know if he gets there, if he gets enough reps to get there this year. So obviously it's grabbable information to pull. But for me, that's why I think I would take Love right now because it looks like he does have the processing capabilities so far against vanilla preseason defenses. So
that's fair. I don't blame you for thinking that way at all. Definitely Fields' passing game is his weakness right now. I think that's fair to say for all Bears fans out there who are just triggered now and turn it off this like video. Good thing we made this segment last. But no, I mean, I kind of just got to have hope and maybe sometime this season he kind of figures it out. Maybe it's with the new pieces he have on offense. Maybe it's a slightly revamped O-line that can help him get there. But to your point, maybe he has to go out there and just to see it more, believe what he's seeing. Don't just rely on your legs, which I know for a playmaker like him is tough because he's like, yeah, I could throw a check down or I could run for 20 yards. I feel like sometimes he wants to play hero ball and make that big play. To your point about Kurt Warner's video, the first part of that video too was like, I forget the concept. You probably know a lot better than me. I didn't play offense really, but it was like flag route, corner route out of the slot, and they always ran like a little sit with the one. And you can see on the film, he was just waiting for that corner route to be open.
The little stick route concept, high-lowing the safety, seeing whatever the safety picks and seeing if you can, obviously take advantage of it.
He needs to learn to take what the defense gives him. Like, don't try to hit that home run ball all the time. We don't need that big highlight play. Take that 6 yards. Let your guy get out in space and do something with the ball. So,
yeah. Well, Mike, just to tack onto that, my concern now with the weapons, my concern would be is it doesn't improve it. It actually makes it worse because now my concern would be as he starts forcing the ball to DJ Moore. Instead of going through his reads and going, okay, the safeties rolled over top of DJ on this seam route. That tells me that, Darnell Mooney should be open on the out route. Let me just get it down to Mooney. He's going to have this trust with DJ and think, oh, you know what? Fuck it, I can still make that work. And now he's forcing the ball into not great scenarios. So I hope we don't see that, but I do at least want to put that on tape, on video of being a potential concern. I think it was there was one play you were showing me in the preseason where it looked like DJ Moore was covered, and then oh my God, what was the play?
It was like it was one of the first. I think it might have been the first play of the preseason game against the Bills, week 3, like the last preseason game where it was. It was Komet? No, it was DJ Moore out wide at the X. He ran like a fade, like outside fade. And then it was Cole Komet running a hitch at the number 2, and then Mooney was running an out route. It was
Yeah.
right. So he was looking. I think he was looking at Moore, and then decided to throw to the hitch late, which was
Yeah.
Emmett, and it was there, but he kind of double hitched a little bit. Like he didn't just rip it into to Komet, which made it a tougher throw, and he ended up dropping it. But to your point, is like at some point you have to just register like Moore is not getting open. He's not open. He's not open. Move on. So
yeah, which is exactly what it needs to do. It needs to be a matter of no, all right, cool. Again, that can work, but you just make your life so much more difficult. For Packers fans that have tuned into this thing, Aaron Rodgers trying to force the ball to Devontae Adams. Sure, Devontae Adams is a great receiver and it works, but just as you saw when Aaron Rodgers didn't trust anyone else out there, you start getting frustrated. Like, dude, you're throwing the ball to Devontae Adams and he's triple covered. Like, it's 3rd and 10. We have a tight end, Robert Tonyan, sitting at the first down mark. Why the fuck are you still throwing it up a Hail Mary prayer to Devontae Adams?
Right.
It's the same kind of a thing. It's all great and dandy to trust your playmakers and give them a shot for 2nd down and everything. But the problem starts becoming the 3rd down when you're still trying to do that instead of going through your reads and just hitting the open guy for the 1st down.
Yeah.
So, again, for me, that's why I take love. I understand the potential of Fields, but, we'll see. It'll be very interesting to see how this season goes for both players. And obviously, we know they're going to be compared a lot to each other because of the hated Bears-Packers rivalry. So
I hope both guys stay healthy, have a great season, and I hope we can turn a page on the Bears versus Packers too. Like maybe both teams have really good quarterbacks instead of like one with like 30 years of Hall of Fame play, and then the other team with like 30 different starting quarterbacks.
That's amazing. Why can't everyone just have a great quarterback? Why can't we all just be free, man?
Why can't we have fun too?
We'll shampoo it and we'll call it a day.
Why can't we have good things too? But yeah, no. Just I hope both guys can stay healthy, and hope it's a fun season.
Yeah, I'm sure it will be. It'll be an exciting season to watch. I know Bears fans will be antsy about what the results will yield, and what changes need to go from there with the front office. But moving on to our final segment of the show, and I do apologize for this longer episode of our podcast. We seem to be having a really good time. We maybe had a couple Four Locos before we came on. Again, shout out to our sponsor, Four Loco. If you're not in the loco, what are you doing?
Dude, they should actually sponsor us now.
It's like cracking a can, dude. Why would you go anywhere else? This is what you need.
We are the perfect market for them.
Yeah.
I don't know what that market is, but
people that have given up on life, probably, I think.
Yeah. Well, they're like, yeah, we want you to drink the product. I'm like, camera. No, I'm never drinking Four Loko ever again.
I wonder what's healthier for you. What's healthier, do you think? If you go and drink a Four Loko, or you just get a can of gasoline and start chugging it? What do you think's healthier?
I think I would give the nod to the pure gasoline. I think it's like the ethanol 15% is down the hatchet. Yeah.
Okay, let me give you one more. Bleach or Four Loko?
I would use the bleach to chase down the Four Loko. I think that will get rid of the flavor a little bit.
Bleach or Four Loko with a shot of bleach. You know what? I respect it. Respect it. I'm more of a Tide Pod man myself, but
I like the chewy gummies.
Oh, we did. All right, we got one last segment. We're gonna piss off New York.
We just need to push through this.
We just need to push through this.
We're almost done, guys. We're almost done.
All right. Can the Jets, Jets, dethrone the real New York team, the Buffalo Bills, for the AFC East crown? It'd be the first time that the Jets have been to the playoffs since, I believe, 2012. I think they have the current longest playoff drought in all of North American sports. Do you think with the addition of Aaron Rodgers and Al Lazard, Randall Cobb, all the additions they made this offseason, do you think they finally can knock off the team from Western New York?
Jets fans, I'm sorry. I'm going to rip off the Band-Aid. I do not think you guys are going to win the AFC East this season. Of course, anything's possible. It's football. A couple of injuries here, a couple of weird bounces off the ball there. Things change, right? But let me run you through some information here. I looked at strength of schedule for both teams. Okay. The Bills, according to Warren Sharp and his team, the Bills have the 26th easiest schedule, and the Jets have the 25th easiest schedule. So both schedules are hard, and they're relatively the same difficulty. Okay. We talked about this a few weeks ago. If you guys haven't, or I guess it's been a month or two already, we talked about Josh Allen and the woes of the Bills. Their run game has been lacking over the past couple seasons, which is weird because they're a really good team. You'd think they would just figure it out, and they haven't. And they brought in Damian Harris to help out with that. I'll touch on this in a second, but Von Miller is a question mark right now. I understand that he should come back some point this season. I think he's on the pup right now, and he could come back at any point, I'm pretty sure. But is he going to come back the same Von Miller? Is he coming back in top shape? He's a little bit older now. The Bills need him out there, though, to make that deep push. Go from a really good team to a Super Bowl team. They need him out there. I think last season kind of showed that. So he kind of addressed that. They brought in Leonard Floyd. And, of course, according to Sean Payton, the Jets are just the offseason kings. Is the only thing they're going to be is just offseason kings, I guess. They won the offseason with the Aaron Rodgers trade. They brought in Dalvin Cook a couple of weeks ago. They have Alan Lazard and the whole back half of the Packers roster seems like. But with that being said, I think there's a reason why the Jets and Packers agreed on that 65% clause in the trade, where if Aaron Rodgers plays 65% of the snaps for the Jets this year, a second round pick turns into a first. I think that's because Aaron Rodgers is a little bit older, right? He's just easier to get hurt now. And then B, a subset point of that is, can the Jets O-line keep him healthy? This is kind of like anecdotal. It's not real stats, but I was watching Hard Knocks, and there's a scene in there where the O-line was getting just like ripped because they just were not protecting them. I think they had a joint practice with the Panthers, I think. And they were just letting everyone go by like it was a Friday night and it was like a fucking bar. And they're like, yeah, you're in, go. And it kind of makes me worried for that offense because as as talented as Aaron Rodgers is, as talented as Garrett Wilson is, right? The O-line needs to be up there and they have to perform well. And when you compare the two teams, I think the Bills' front seven is better than the Jets' O-line. I think you'll see that when they play the first week too. I think they will get after Aaron Rodgers. I think that's going to be a common theme throughout the season. I hope not. I hope the O-line can figure it out. I hope Rodgers can stay healthy. And if they win the AFC East, I'll tip my hat off to Jets fan and I'll eat my crow. Yep, you guys are right. I should have never doubted the bad man, 12, and all that stuff. But I just don't think right now the Jets have enough firepower just over, I guess, dethrone, best way to say it, the Bills.
Yeah. Boy, this is, again, it's kind of a tough one to do because it is kind of mostly hypothetical right now. But I am going to agree with you. I do think the Bills keep the AFC's crown. Again, well, no, I'm a mid-segment. I'm a flip it. I'm going to go Jets because I was just thinking, I was just thinking like, they got this and that. But the Bills, they're without Von Miller for the first 4 weeks because he starts the season on the pup. Now, again, I don't think they'll lose all 4 games, but maybe they go 2-2 because of that. Do those 2 games come back to haunt the Bills later in the season? The Bills still cannot figure out their short game situation. It's been a weirdly noted problem with them. 3rd and 3 is their weakness. It's kind of like watching a genius that can't seem to frickin' figure out how to tie his goddamn shoes. Like it's loop-de-loop and pull, motherfucker. What the fuck is going on here? What is wrong with you? The fact that you still got to use your star quarterback as a battering ram. I mean, like they have all the pieces you'd want in a team, in a Super Bowl contending team. They are deep in defense. They have pass rushers. They have a star receiver. They have a great number 2 receiver. They have a great tight end that they just drafted. They have a top 3 quarterback. can you guys not figure out how to run the goddamn ball? The Bills fans I know are not overly thrilled about their offensive line right now. Like I believe they talk about like their bottom tier offense line. They're actually according to PFF around like middle tier, but they're not overly thrilled. So maybe that plays a role in it too. But I also think the Jets' offensive line is going to get a lot more. Is going to have a lot more stability than I think people think. I know they signed Laken Thompson last offseason, so he'll be left guard for them. They have Elijah Vera Tucker, who was supposed to be a high draft pick out of USC at right guard. They still have. I think they just drafted. Was it Joe Tipman from Wisconsin, center? I believe.
Yes.
I believe they drafted him.
Center.
He was my favorite center in the draft. I mean, he's a dude, a star, another one from one of them Badger boys that keeps getting overlooked for some reason. That would help come in and solidify that O line. At left tackle, do they have Dwayne Brown coming back yet?
Can't even tell you.
I think they have Dwayne Brown at left tackle, then they have Mekhi Beckman at right tackle, who's revamped his entire body. He's been in the gym, posting them sweaty selfies every other week to show everyone in the world that he's busted his butt. He's got a great redemption arc coming along. So I really do think that O-line is going to surprise a lot of people. And they still have a lot of weapons. You think about continuity, like I kind of talked about with the Texas, Alabama game. You have a continuity concern with Aaron Rodgers and Garrett Wilson, but then you look at his number 2, and it's Alan Lazard. I think he's got some continuity with him. And then who's behind him? Randall Cobb. Yeah, I think they're a little familiar. So I mean, they have Breece Hall in the backfield. They signed Dalvin Cook, right? I believe. Cook. I remember that right. They have Dalvin Cook. I mean, their offense should be. I mean, it should be solid at the very least. In defense, I'm trusting Robert Saleh. I mean, he was great with the 49ers. He's had a decent D-line, decent defense with the couple of years he's been with the Jets so far. They still have has to be in consideration for the top corner duos in the league. In DJ Reed and Sauce Gardner. They have Jermaine Johnson on the end. They have, I believe they've noted as having like the deepest D-line. Again, that's a scary team. It's a scary team. And if you were going to bank your hat on, maybe it's going to take them a minute to get things figured out. I mean, they brought all the guys in that Aaron Rodgers is comfortable with. So it really shouldn't take more than a game to get everything up to speed. Garrett Wilson looks like he's going to be the second coming of Devontae Adams for Aaron Rodgers. And then you pair that with, again, like I said, the Bills are going to be missing, Von Miller for the first 4 weeks. Plus, they can't seem to freaking run the ball to save their lives. I kind of give that edge to the Jets. I think they're going to, I think the Bills are going to drop a game within these first 4 weeks because I think half of them are divisional games. They start off by playing the Jets, and I think they play Miami within the first 4 weeks too without Von Miller. You drop a game here that may end up being crucial. I mean, it's not too far-fetched to think they start the season out 1-3. So, again, that's my take on it. That's why I think I could see the Jets dethrowing the Bills for this offseason. But how crazy would it be for us to have this long conversation, and it's the Dolphins that do it?
They could.
I mean,
yeah. This
full season number 2 help. Yeah, it's got to be one of the toughest divisions in football right now.
It's tough to bet on this division. I do have like various parlays where I have like Jets winning one because of better probably. I have one with the Bills winning one. I haven't made one with the Dolphins winning one, but maybe I gotta do that just to hedge my like other bets. Because this division can really go either way. To your point, I could definitely see the Bills losing a couple games where they shouldn't have. It kind of opens the door for the Jets or Dolphins to kind of sneak up and take the crown. But hey, let us know what you all think. Is it going to be the Bills or Jets or Dolphins? Let us know who's going to run the AFC East this season.
Yeah, don't put Patriots. If you put Patriots, you will get blocked. Like that's an immediate.
You will immediately. I'm going to report your account if you put Patriots.
Oh yeah,
like
that has to be.
You're not going to have an account. Yeah.
Yeah. You'll lose your YouTube account. So good luck watching YouTube videos again, bud. But thanks for joining us. Thanks for joining us on another episode of the Rational Football League show. We hope you guys had as much fun watching this as we had making it. Tell us who you think is going to win this week. Are you taking Texas or Bama? Are you taking Miami or the Chargers? Or who are you going to go with, the Bills or the Jets? Let us know in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the like button, and turn on that bell for notifications. We post about 2 or 3 times a week. But until next time, it's been Emmett. It's been B. See you guys.